You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Howdy do, buckaroos, and welcome to Comics My Kids Podcast, the official podcast for the comicscornerbox.blogspot.com. I'm your host, Matt D, and with me today is...
Melody D.
And Logan D.
Well, today we are covering Northwest Indiana Comic Con 2024, its 10-year anniversary. So, guys, why don't you tell me a little bit about your first impressions of the con this year? We'll start with you, Logan. What did you like best about it?
I liked how they had a better... I feel like the setup was still good. And what I really liked is it was divided into 4 different portions of the, room. And so you could go check out one corner, then another corner, another, and another, and then check out the main center area. So I thought the design was pretty cool.
Got it. What about you, Melody? What was your favorite thing about the Northwest Indiana Comic Con?
Getting this book.
What is that book?
It's called Last Unicorn in the Realm of Monsters. Really.
All right. So, and that was from Guerilla Publishing. Speaking of Guerilla Publishing, they were one of the key publishers that were at the con this year. And,
they were a sponsor.
Yes, and Guerilla Publishing is based out of Gary, Indiana. They have several different books ranging from all ages, or at least for audiences for all ages. And one particular book that we picked up was actually written by Lorelei Farster. And Melody, you want to tell our listeners a little bit about the 2 books we picked up by Lorelei Farster?
Sure. We picked up 2 Squid Kid books. The first one is about a squid who lost his library book. And it's about the squid trying to find the library book. It's pretty interesting to read. And I hope that many other people enjoy it.
What is so special about this book, though?
Can I say it?
Okay, Logan, please tell us why it's so special.
Because it was made by a kid for kids.
That's right. Lorelei is maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8 years old, and she made a comic book all on her own. Drew it, inked the cover, made it, and sold it at the con.
And the second issue, is about a forest monster. I think there's a forest on the sea. In it, they find out that there is no forest monster, and it's just a trick.
Okay.
Not much to learn from it, but it's kind of interesting still.
It's definitely a fun book to read. So, Logan, is there any comic book that you picked up that you enjoyed?
Well, there was some comics you picked up that I haven't gotten to read yet, and there were a few issues of The Incredible Hulk.
Okay. Is there any particular booths that you guys liked at the Northwest Indiana Comic Con?
Oh, I know one.
Okay, Melly.
One I really enjoyed was when I go to every single time this booth is at a race or a Comic Con.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Can I guess?
No. The booth is called Geeky Goodies. I know you would have guessed that because I have a loyalty card for it. Spoilers event, they have loyalty cards there, and your 11th pack of marshmallows is free. Every time we go to an event, I buy marshmallows there because then my 11th pack is free. When you get floof there, if you bring back the jar, you get a free refill.
Nice.
Well, you just buy another jar the same size. But they're my favorite place to go because they always have a special one, around Christmas time when we were doing the lights race. I didn't actually race, so I was looking around. And they had these special peppermint mug toppers. So I bought a couple. And now they have these different toppers for your mugs. I got a Hug and a Mug one, and it's a pink one. And then I got another one, and it's a Pokeball. It's shaped like a Pokeball. So they took this white marshmallow, and then they put on black icing on it, and some red icing, and then they put on a little white dot in the center of the black. So it looked like an actual Pokeball.
Cool.
I think I already ate it, though. I didn't put it in my hot cocoa. I think I just ate it. And for Valentine's Day, while we were there, they also gave out free marshmallows with their purchase, and I got a strawberry heart with my purchase because it was free. And it tasted so good. But what about you, Logan? Do you have any special booths in particular?
There was one booth I liked. It was called Tinseltown, and the guy running the shop or the place, I can't remember his name, but he had helped design some popular things. Like, he had helped make Pocahontas. Or, I think he helped with a show called, what was it called? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Really good show. We recently watched it. And he also had a raffle to win a picture.
And did you guys sign up for the raffle?
Melody did.
Sweet. Well, there was also another creator that I stopped and checked out, and that was a guy by the name of Tom Stillwell. And he has books for several different audiences. Particularly, he does have comics for kids. Spinner Rack Comics has this book called The Honor Brigade. It's kind of like an Avengers type storyline. The trade paperback collects the first 6 issues, which is the band getting together kind of storyline. And I'm looking forward to Logan and Melody and I reading it and hopefully covering it in a future episode. It looks really cool. The artwork kind of reminds me of some early Image comics or even some later, like 1980s Marvel comic books. Very cool, very colorful. Looks like they got some really neat stories, and there's a few stories in here. One in particular written by Gail Simone from Birds of Prey, as well as Tim Seeley. So I'm looking forward to reading this with you guys. How about you, Melody? Is there a book that you're currently interested in reading?
The Last Unicorn, and this one that I'm currently reading during the podcast, which is not very much a good idea, but it's called Faye and the Moon.
And what do you know about Faye and the Moon?
Nothing yet, except for it's about a girl, because I've heard the summary of it. It's about a girl who steals the moon to get her mother's attention.
Yep.
And that's like all I know, because her mother is not currently with her. And I'm like, that's all I know, because I read like the first 2 pages.
Gotcha.
And that's it. But I also liked The Last Unicorn and the Rumble Monsters. And I can't wait to podcast on it.
All right, Logan, is there anything, any other books or interesting about the con that you want to mention?
Alright, I got 2 things. I'm hoping to read the, Incredible Hulk series we got. And there was this really cool booth, which is by far my favorite. And it says, booth full of props. And there was a lot of cool things you could buy. I bought this one shotgun that you can pull the back and it'll fall forward, and then you can flick your wrist and it'll close.
Yeah. And it's a prop gun, so.
Yeah, it can't shoot or anything. It doesn't even have bullets, and the trigger's broken.
Yeah, and that was, that booth was called Wulfgar Props. You can check them out probably at wulfgarprops.com. But I'll have in the show notes all of the cool different booths we stopped at. Another major thing that we got to do while at the Comic Con was we got to join in on the pop culture trivia contest. And Logan, you want to tell what place we got in the trivia contest?
We got 3rd place.
Yep. We secured our 3rd place because you guys knew some questions. You knew, in particular, Logan, the answer to who was the pop star that wanted to buy Marvel comic books back in the 90s to become Spider-Man, to try to be Spider-Man in a movie.
How about we don't reveal that answer, and people can, like, wait, what do they do? Like, they can write us an email and send in their answers, and we'll reveal it in our next episode.
There you go. That's a good idea. And the winner that answers the question correctly, you can win some free comics.
So the question is, what pop star tried to buy Marvel so that he could play Spider-Man in a movie?
Yeah, it's a pop star back in the 1990s. Melody, is there any other thing that stands out to you that you want to talk about the con?
Other than they do have some pretty interesting other booths there. I mentioned this before, probably shouldn't mention it. They were talking about booths. But there was one booth that had this really unique artwork. And I got a sticker from it. It's a sticker of a cupcake with a cat in it. Like, the cat is just sticking its face out of the wrapper.
Okay. Do you remember what the booth was?
Something food fight and cats. Something with that effect to it. I don't remember.
Let's see. I'm guessing it was probably Ghost Traveler, maybe?
Alright.
Well, while she's looking that up, I do want to shout out a couple people that we got to interview and talk, well, at least talk with while at the con. I got to talk with Mr.
Found it.
Tim. Okay, Mel.
Blackie Cat Creations.
Okay. Blackie Cat Creations. So we'll put a link in the show notes to that person's website so you can check out some of their really cool artwork. But as I was saying, I got an opportunity to talk to Mr. Tim Seeley, and we discussed his new book, Local Man, that he's doing with Tony Fleece. It's a fun comic book. Definitely not kid appropriate, but it is a fun comic book for people who read comics back in the 90s that are familiar with Image Comics and their classic characters. I also want to mention that I got to speak with the writer for a comic book series called Bulletproof Chicken. Definitely not a kid appropriate book, but mom and dads, if you want to check it out, there's a really cool chicken who's kind of like a private investigator. It's kind of set in that 1980s, 1990s detective genre.
Don't reveal too much. I'm not allowed to read it yet.
I know I'm not going to reveal anything that is story related, but it's definitely a fun spoof on the classic like Loaded Weapon and classic like Die Hard type movies. Lots of swearing in it. Definitely not kid appropriate. So I would say wait till your kids well, I'll leave it to the parents to determine when's the best time for them to introduce them to a comic that's more adult, violent, and has swearing. But yeah, Logan, is there anything else that we should cover about the Northwest Comic Con?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, I know I certainly had a fun time at the Northwest Indiana Comic Con. What did you guys have a fun time?
I had a great time.
Melody appears to be very involved in her book that she's currently reading. So, but I know that she had a great time too. And I really want to say thank you to the Grabinskis, Brian and I think it's Kelly. They were the ones that came up with the Northwest Indiana Comic Con, and I have to say it is great to have a comic book convention in our own backyard area, but at least in the South Chicagoland area, that is great to get to, a fun place to go to, and I hope that they have many years to come. Alrighty, well, I think that's enough for tonight. I think we can wrap this puppy up. Our 90th episode. We've got 10 more to go before we hit the triple digits. Number 100's around the corner, and this year is our 5-year anniversary on March 27th, 2024. Well, we'll celebrate our 5-year anniversary, and we have a Google form out there. Check out our website for our 5-year anniversary questionnaire. Listener, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you think of the show, what you think that we should change, or if there's anything that you really like that we should help promote or push forward. We'd like to hear from you. So check out our website, the comicscornerbox.blogspot.com, or check out our Facebook page at Comics with Kids, where you can find our questionnaires. So let's go ahead and close this up, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of Comics with My Kids. Check out more episodes at the comicscornerbox.blogspot.com.
Leave us a rating or review at Apple Podcast or Podchaser.
Follow us on Twitter for all our episode posts and news at Comics with My Kids.
Also check out our Facebook page, Comics with My Kids, and Instagram.
Thanks, and have a great night.
Good night. Oh, and hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Closed.